Hello. I'm Jason Rink. I just decided to go live today. ChatGPT Paint is now available from Krea, and I wanted to jump in and just see how it works. So I've actually never tried it. This will be the first time that I've gone into this function, but I saw it on Twitter. Krea announced it, and I thought this looks very interesting. So I'm here at krea.ai. I do have a paid account with Krea. Krea, if you're not familiar with it, is sort of a multi-tool. You can generate images, you can generate video, you can do all sorts of different things there. And in the image generation model and in the video model, you can use different image and video generation models. So you can see you've got everything that you might want to use here. Image gen, ChatGPT. Lots of platforms are implementing GPT now because the API was just released last week. And so you're going to see this coming into a lot of products. It's already hitting. Also on the video side, you just have a lot of choices here. So it's a great all-in-one tool if you're really looking to dive in and start exploring some of these tools. Krea is a great option. Free Pick is another option. There's a number of different options out there, but this is a good way to try to explore different tools so that you can kind of see what's possible, what you want to do, what you want to work in. And for some people, a tool like Krea or Free Pick might be all that you need. It depends on how much image generation that you want to do. The credits can get pretty expensive if you use it a lot like me. I have subscriptions to many of the tools at the higher plans because I'm creating content for clients, I'm creating content for myself. And so I just have to have a more robust tool stack. But this is an interesting new option here. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to just click on here, try ChatGPT Paint, see what happens. Okay, we're going to create an image here. So I'm just going to say, hang on, let me get my keyboard situated. I wasn't planning on doing this morning, so here we are. Uh, let's say a Tyrannosaurus Rex smoking a cigarette at a gas station in the 1950s. And I misspelled a lot of things. Let's see if I can correct this. All right, so we'll go ahead and do this in 3, 2. And then it's going to have the paint function. I assume that's going to happen after I generate this. So let's see what this creates for us. And if you haven't been using these tools very much, if you're new to image gen and video gen, a lot of these tools do take a little bit of time. I would say that GPT is pretty fast, but Midjourney is like the fastest. You can get the fastest iterations there. Of course, accuracy and learning how to prompt in Midjourney, that's a whole different story. There's also Sora that I use quite frequently. Sora is based, as far as I can tell, on the similar model as GPT, but Sora, you do have some additional functions and options there that you don't have when you're directly doing it in ChatGPT. And then Google Image Gen is very good, very fast, and also very expensive. All of the Google products, the Google Video product, and the Image Gen product is on the more expensive side, but you can get your images and videos. The Google Video generation is one of the fastest video generations out there that I've discovered. It's also tends to be the most expensive. So anyway, we're waiting for this to generate. Let's see here. We'll see what we get. Okay, like that's not bad. I like it. It gave us the 1950s version, the black and white version, and now we have the color version. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take this. Now we're going to see what we can do with it. I'm here in the enhance mode. And oh, that looks like it's going to upscale it for me. like I said, I have not tried this yet. So I think I got to go back over here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to paint. What happens when I want to paint? All right. I'm going to download this. Let's see if I can do that. Let's download this. Okay. Probably should have gone through a tutorial, but who cares, right? Okay. So now I'm going to paint. Now I'm going to take what I just downloaded and I'm going to try to paint with it. See if I can find my image here. All right. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this in as an image prompt. And let me see if I can paint with it. Or do I bring that in to here? There we go. Okay. So I've got this guy in here. Now what do I want to do? Well, let me see how this works. I have no idea. What happens when I do that? Oh, okay. I got it. All right. Let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and paint. Going to paint this guy. I don't know. What do we want to do? You can add text. And I guess you can say, turn this image. Oh my gosh. This is not intuitive right now. Turn this image black and white. Okay. So I guess you can add text to it and see what happens there. All right. Here we go. So this is just, random. I added some instructions to it via text, which I saw in the demo. Okay. So we'll see if this actually just adds the text to the image. I don't know. Maybe that's all it'll do. I think that stuff is going to speed up quite quickly as we continue to have more of these products. We're in an arms race on, AI products right now. So everybody's rushing to get the better quality. Everybody's rushing to get speed to improve. Everybody's trying to do things that are going to make it, easier and better for people to use the tools. So hopefully, and GPT's been out for like a month. Okay, so it did turn it black and white based off of the description that I had. You can see that, okay, so here's where we started. All right, we've got the color and we've got the black and white. Then we used the color version and gave it some instruction to turn it black and white. So for example, this was more of an artistic rendering here, and we turned that black and white. Originally, we had kind of a more photorealistic rendering that was in black and white. So you could just turn it black and white by giving it those instructions, okay? So that's what we did. Now, notice, though, that he's holding 2 cigarettes. He's got one in his mouth. And he does have a complete arm now, which I didn't notice before. We did not have a complete arm. So now we want to generate, I want to generate another image, or I want to add something in here. Now, all of this is in this prompt right now. So I suspect that if I get rid of this, I can add something else in, or I could start with a different prompt, right? And I can use this to prompt with. Now, okay, there we go. Look at that. You can just drag the images in here. So I'm going to just describe in here, right? Turn this into a color photo. Okay. So this is normally how you would do this. You would just throw the text in there. And we're going to try to turn this into a color photo. Again, like I said, I was just doing this from scratch. I didn't even read the instructions. So you're seeing this in all of its like glory of me stumbling around in the tool. So hopefully we'll get a color photo of that. And then we need to figure out what else we can do here. So I want to see what I can do by adding in some other images. And I guess this paint function, if you touch the paint lever, that's one way to do it, but you can just drag and drop this stuff, which seems easier to me. Oh, also, we've gone to a different size here because I wasn't paying attention to exactly, what size this was at. So that's something to keep in mind, is like, making sure that you've got your size locked in here. Well, in fact, this gave me 3x2 to start with, and I do have 3x2 down here, and it's spitting out 1x1. So that is sort of interesting. I also noticed that this 3x2, yes, that window sort of changed on me. So it's almost like you got to really watch this thing. Okay, we got that. We got it in color now. And I do like him smoking a cigarette in this one. So let's go ahead and drag and drop him in here. Okay. And now I want to add a red 57 Chevy. Sorry. Spelling. Emojis coming up. Add a 57 Chevy to the background. Okay. Now I've got it in 3-2. Hopefully we're going to see this change back into 3-2. Okay, great. We're going to hopefully get a red 57 Chevy in the background. Now I have no idea how many credits I'm using right now as this does this. Probably a lot. And this is my first live stream on my new channel that I just sort of revamped. So see if anyone's watching this. Probably not. Nobody even knows this is happening. It's best, though, to stumble around in new tools while nobody's watching. So if anybody is watching, that's great. Okay, look at that. We have a red 57 Chevy in the background. This one's a little bit messed up. It's like on top of the pole there. This one is a little better, but again, it's like, what is really happening here? So let's see if we can like erase something. So let's try to erase the gas pump, the background gas pump out of this one. Can we do that? So let me see if I can paint. Okay. So that went back to my old image. How do I get an image in here? Well, do I have to download it? That's the question. And then the other thing is I got to change this. Okay. So I'm going to download this image. All right. Okay, great. And then I'm going to pull it in here. I'm going to go to Paint, because I think it's how I have to do this. I drag my image in here. Great. Okay. So now I'm going to, is there a way to erase what's in the background? All right. let me just try this. Remove the gas pump circled. Let's see what happens. I can't imagine this is going to work well. Uh, I don't even know what the hand is here. Okay. Why is that disappearing? Okay. My text all appears to be there. Let's see what happens. Let's see. This, I can't imagine this is going to work. But maybe it will. That's the thing is trying to figure out how these new tools work. I don't read I don't I don't read instructions. I never have. I always like to just go in and figure stuff out. And that sometimes produces mixed results. All right. All right, we're waiting on this. So let me go back to the Krea. Let me go back to the main website. Let's go to krea.ai and see if I can get any better instructions on this. New feature, visual compositing. Okay, that just takes me back to that. It didn't really show me how to do this. Now it says I can pull in like items. It'll interpret my sketches, annotations, and collages. We're about to find out if it's going to interpret my annotation. Okay, so funny, it took out all the gas pumps. It radically changed the look of the image. Now, overall, yeah, so my paint, again, is it possible that I'm not using this correctly? Yeah, definitely. So I could explore that a little bit more, but right now it's like I asked it to remove the gas pump. I circled it, which, I think that's what I was supposed to do. But let's try it again. Let's give it another chance because the results that we have here is we're getting this sort of, number one, in ChatGPT, if you're working in ChatGPT, I don't do edits in the same chat because there is this crazy degradation of quality that happens. Okay. First of all, you'll notice that this image is getting more yellow as we go along. This is definitely something that happens in ChatGPT. You see this sort of yellow tinting that's happening. ChatGPT, if you stay in the same chat and you continue to make edits on something, number one, you get usually a degradation of quality, a graininess starts to enter in the equation, and then this sort of yellowing of the image, which I don't even really know what's going on with that. So typically, if I'm going to do some editing on an image, I'll actually save the image and then I'll re-import that into a new chat and start to manipulate it. That starts to get really cumbersome, and I think it's something that they're going to ultimately fix. And then you can see here that it sort of has completely changed the look. I mean, this is almost more of like a 50s style art rather than just like what started out as a little bit more photographic, right? And so, of course, he also lost the cigarette. So let me try this again and see if I can't figure out something else to do with the paint here. So we're going to paint. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And let me see here. I'm just going to use these annotations in text, which it isn't the simplest thing to do. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I could add another object into this too, right? And so it's like for this text, I'm going to say make, oh, no, make this a wider shot. Okay. And then what else do I want to add into this? Let me just see if I can find some random thing that I can add into the image. I'm just like literally digging around on my desktop on my computer. to see what I can find. Okay. Um, let's try this. Yeah, I don't even know why I have this here. All right. This is some random thing I downloaded. Okay. Do this instead. Combine these images. Okay, now this is something I could do just through prompting. So let's see. Because I could just say that in here rather than putting the text on the canvas. So I don't know if that's just something that's like gimmicky or something. I know this is geared towards people who are probably newer to prompting and working with these products. But anything that can improve the user AI for like normal people is going to be a benefit. Hey, I'll say this right now. I share my work over on X. I've got an account over there, and that's where I do most of my like testing. I'm going to start recording some YouTube videos because I'm doing some training at my agencies right now, like the production company that I run. And so I'm going to start doing YouTube tutorials and sharing other stuff because I need to start recording all of this. I've been exploring, I started working in Midjourney in 2023. I've produced some video content for clients over the last several years. I'm working on an anime project right now that's pretty great. I'm going to show that workflow soon. But I'm just exploring stuff like everybody else. I mean, stuff is happening so fast that I'm just digging in. I have like $1,000 worth of subscriptions a month that I'm using to try to figure out how to do all this. So you will benefit from my expense. All right, well, this is interesting. So let's just recap. Like, part of what's happening here in Paint is, I don't know why my text isn't showing up, but we had said combine the images. We'd said that in text. And so this definitely combined the images. We've got, he's not smoking a cigarette anymore. Okay. So I wonder if I add a cigarette, you know, by putting a sketch on it, if that will work. So let me download this. Okay. And we're going to try this. All right. So we're going to add this cigarette back in. All right. This is where I could see it get kind of cool. All right. So let's get rid of these. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this annotation here. I'm going to put that, and I'm going to say cigarette in mouth, and see if that like directs what's happening here. All right. How about I say large? Because we want it to be like the right scale. Large cigarette in mouth. Okay. Well, let's try this. I do like this. It's that's the one thing that is very interesting about working with AI is you get these it's just a creative rabbit hole, you know, like we started down this whole journey with me randomly coming up with this one idea. And now we've got this sort of interesting scene, right? It's like this 50s gas station with a dinosaur and an ice cream shop. And it's managed to take all of the elements and bring them together into a single cohesive image. It doesn't just look like everything's just pasted together. It unified the style. So we do have some weirdness going on here. Like we've got this lantern thing. That's kind of weird. but it's like part of the bike. But you know, that's something we create. We could erase, I imagine. I don't see an erase function on this. This didn't work. Wonder why. Try a different model though, it says. So it's interesting. We could see if another model will work with this paint because it's advertised as GPT. Okay, here we go. So this turned this image into something completely different, right? Now we have a complete sketch design. He does have a large cigarette in his mouth. A lot of the same elements are present that were in the original image, but it's completely changed the entire style. We do have a styles function here where you can choose different things that you want. So these are styles that people have created, which I think could be really useful, right? This gives you a lot to just dive into, especially if you're struggling with ideas. It happens all the time where you're like trying to figure out what to produce. Having some of these type of styles is really useful. And it looks like they've got sort of the Krea styles. So, and then you can create your own private styles, you know, or make them public, I guess. So anyway, that's interesting. Like we could try that. Let's try this real quick. Pull that in here. And let's just change the style of this. And let's change this to a 90s anime style. All right. Create the image of the dinosaur in the style of the first image. Let's see if this does this. All right. Let's see if it listens to me. Yeah. I don't know if you can paint in the other styles. What happens when I change it? No, you can't. Okay. So paint's available. Now I know why this is because the ChatGPT API does have an in painting function. It's interesting because you don't have in painting in regular ChatGPT. If you're just working in ChatGPT, you don't have the ability to in paint, which is to highlight, make edits, tell it to add this or add that. So this in painting, this is really just an in painting function. And it also takes into account your annotations, which I don't know how useful that is for overall, because you can just, instead of putting text annotations in, you can just prompt it. So it's, again, seems a little bit like a gimmick to me. But all right, let's see if it understood. No. Okay. Yeah. So that did work. Sort of combining this. Why is this? Yeah, I don't know why that didn't work. Um, I don't know why it didn't work. Just happens sometimes. Well, running through this again, just seeing where we started. What I guess I can say is that, and I'm going to explore this more. What I guess I can say is that I think for like a new user or casual user of this kind of stuff of image generation, this sort of canvas style may be comfortable. But honestly, I'd probably just stick with using GPT at this point, or even Sora. I use Sora for image generation a lot. I think the in-painting function is really what is happening here, because that I guess that's the juice, sort of, because I can, if I want to take this and I want to paint, right? I think really what we're doing here is we're like, we're thinking more along this lines, right? And remove the bike. That's probably going to work because it's really just in painting. And you can just do that all in one shot. Okay, get rid of that. All right, let's try it. Make this my last generation. I got to go do real work. Oh, like I said, you can follow me on Twitter. It's the Jason Rink. I'm sharing a lot over there. I post there all the time. And we'll see. If I got like more than one view on this video, I might do some of these just random lives. But I am going to be putting out, I have an entire list of video content I'm going to start producing. I'm going to do it pretty fast right now because I need to get some people trained on this stuff. So I'm just going to do it in public and make the videos public because why not? And that's my plan. But I'm going to be going over, a little bit about me at the end of the video. Is I've been working in video production for 15 years. I've worked with clients, helped generate over $500 million in sales through online video, traditional video for all of these years. I've worked with Aston Martin, I've worked with Toyota, and I've worked with large and small entrepreneurs and businesses across all sorts of verticals. And I've recently just over the last year realized that AI is going to revolutionize everything that we do. Business automation, creative innovation, creative ideation. So I want to talk and help people understand how to use these tools to streamline their processes, get more efficiency, create more effectively, and really use AI as a creative partner in agency work and content creation, and then automations that are helping me. I have a very small company, and I'm looking to grow in revenue and grow in clients, but not grow in headcount. And I think that a lot of the different AI tools that I've discovered and begun to use, they're going to help me do that. But I realize most people can't keep up with this stuff. So I'm keeping up with it, and I'm going to begin to share everything that I'm discovering, that everything I'm implementing. I want it to be all be useful, everything that I share, because there's so much noise out there. Understanding the best tools, having the leanest tool stack, the least amount of tools, that's the ideal situation when it comes to implementing AI into your business. So here's the last thing. So that worked. I got rid of the bike. Okay, great. And this is actually sort of my final image here. Let's see which one we like better. He looks a little bit more ferocious in this second one. I think I'm going to download this one. And what I should probably do is now take this into a video editing. Let's just do it. Let's go ahead and make a video from this. So I'm using FreePick. Look, I have a lot of different, products that I'm using. But FreePick is where I go do a lot of quick, I get quick results out of here. And so I use it to see, what I can produce. You can go through here and change your different, image model, what you're going to use. Let's go ahead and just use Google VO because that's going to do it really fast for me. So you'll notice here that when I put this image in, oh, wait. Haha. I didn't switch window that I'm sharing here. Let's change this. I'll change this and I'll go back to all right. I have to change the screen that I'm sharing. That's why. Free pick. Boom. Okay. Well, let's change this up. Okay, perfect. You guys with me? Thank you. Okay, so I'll do this over again. I'll change. I'll go back. So what happens is in free pick, you can use a lot of different image to video models, right? And VO is like the most expensive on here, but it's also really fast. So we're just going to try this out. So picked my image, pop that up here. And now it's actually going to give you a prompt here, and we're just going to use it. You know, let's see what it says. And I'm just going to use the prompt. The camera slowly dolly zooms in, capturing the vibrant colors and playful details of the setting, while soft, warm lighting enhances the nostalgic atmosphere. Let's just like roll with it. I would come up with a better prompt. In fact, maybe I'll do a second one to come up with a better prompt. I'll just spend my credits. And you can change this up. This will give you some ideas. And I'll just say, as the dinosaur smashes the gas station. Let me see if that even gives us anything. So this is like a simpler prompt. The other one is more like evocative. And then, you know, like the other one is like, oh, I want to see if he'll actually wreck stuff. But yeah, I've been working on an anime sequence for a project. Let's pull this up. You can see that that's like an unusable generation there. I didn't use that. Yeah, also unusable. I mean, sometimes you have to re-roll stuff. This was the one I actually think I used with this dolly out. So it looks pretty nice. I mean, this is just going into a project with like voiceover and music. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, first one. This is based on their, yeah, looks pretty good. You could add some sound effects to that and, you know, turn this into something. Let's see what the other one is. Let's see if he actually smashes anything or if that doesn't happen. He does seem like a little bit more mad. Let me see this first one again. Which one do I want to save? I'm going to find one, probably put some sound effects to it. Yeah, this is pretty good. I like this one. He's mad at gas prices. Anyway, so there it is. We've done a couple of different tools here. We've gone over the new Krea tool and gone into free pick a little bit. So anyway, I'll be putting more content out on a regular basis. Feel free to subscribe and set an alert for that. I appreciate you joining me today as I went through this impromptu live. Take it easy.